In the ancient Himalayan mountains, there lived a renowned Zen master named Tenzin. He was celebrated throughout the region for his wisdom and enlightenment, and people from far and wide sought his guidance. Tenzin was known for his deep understanding of the power of silence, and he often used silence as a tool to teach his students profound lessons. One crisp autumn morning, a young and eager student named Hiroshi came to Tenzin's monastery, seeking to learn the secret of silence. Hiroshi had heard tales of the master's wisdom and was determined to uncover the depths of this elusive power. He approached the temple where Tenzin was sitting quietly under a giant cherry blossom tree, gazing at the crimson leaves that fluttered gently to the ground. "Master Tenzin," Hiroshi greeted with reverence, "I've come to learn the power of silence. Please, teach me its secrets." Tenzin looked at Hiroshi with a kind smile and gestured for him to sit beside him under the cherry blossom tree. For a long while, neither of them spoke. The rustling leaves and the occasional bird's song filled the air as the moments passed by. Hiroshi grew impatient, struggling with the silence that seemed to stretch endlessly. He thought, "Is this the great lesson of silence? To sit and say nothing? I expected more from the renowned master." Finally, Tenzin broke the silence and asked, "Hiroshi, what did you hear during our silence?" Hiroshi pondered for a moment before responding. "I heard the wind in the leaves, the birds singing, and the distant sound of a flowing stream." Tenzin nodded and smiled. "Those are the sounds of the world around you. Now, Hiroshi, tell me what you heard inside yourself." Confused, Hiroshi closed his eyes and listened more attentively. As he did, he began to hear the racing of his own heartbeat, the rush of thoughts in his mind, and the restlessness in his breath. It was in this moment that he realized that the true power of silence was not in external tranquility, but in the stilling of the inner turmoil. Tenzin explained, "Silence is a mirror, Hiroshi. It reflects not only the world around us, but the world within us. To truly understand the power of silence, you must learn to listen to the silence within yourself, for it is in this inner silence that you will discover your true nature." Over the following weeks, Hiroshi became Tenzin's dedicated student, learning the art of inner silence. He practiced meditation, mindfulness, and deep self-reflection. Tenzin guided him through various techniques, helping him to transcend the noise of his own thoughts and emotions. As time passed, Hiroshi began to experience moments of profound clarity and insight during his silent contemplations. One day, as Hiroshi sat beneath the cherry blossom tree, he suddenly felt a deep sense of peace and understanding. He looked at Tenzin with tears in his eyes and said, "Master, I've glimpsed the power of inner silence. It's like a wellspring of wisdom and calmness. But how can I share this with others?" Tenzin smiled and replied, "To share the power of silence, you must first embody it. Silence is not about imposing it on others, but about radiating it from within. Be the embodiment of peace, compassion, and understanding, and you will naturally inspire others to seek the same." Hiroshi continued his journey with Tenzin, deepening his practice and sharing his insights with those who came seeking wisdom. Over time, he gained a reputation as a wise and compassionate teacher, just as Tenzin had been. The two of them sat together in silence under the cherry blossom tree, the student having become a master in his own right. As the years passed, Tenzin grew older and weaker. One evening, under the same cherry blossom tree, Tenzin turned to Hiroshi and said, "It is time for me to depart from this world, my dear student. But remember, the power of silence is eternal. Keep sharing it with others and guide them on their own journeys." Hiroshi nodded, tears in his eyes, and said, "Thank you, Master Tenzin, for teaching me the profound wisdom of silence. Your legacy will live on through those who seek to understand its true power." Tenzin passed away peacefully that night, leaving behind a world touched by his wisdom and the enduring legacy of the power of silence. Hiroshi continued to teach, guiding countless others toward their own inner stillness and understanding. Under the timeless cherry blossom tree, the master's teachings lived on, carried forward by the gentle breeze and the rustling leaves, echoing the profound truth that silence is the greatest teacher of all. In the years that followed, Hiroshi became a renowned teacher, revered for his deep understanding of the power of silence, just as his beloved master Tenzin. Students from all over the world sought his guidance, hoping to uncover the profound wisdom that lay within the silence. One day, a student named Rika, who had heard of Hiroshi's reputation, came to him with a burning question. "Master Hiroshi," Rika began, "I've heard that you possess great wisdom about the power of silence. But I'm struggling to understand how silence can be so transformative. Can you please help me comprehend its true essence?" Hiroshi welcomed Rika and invited her to sit with him beneath the cherry blossom tree where he had once sat with his own master, Tenzin. For a while they both sat in silence, with the sound of the wind in the leaves and the distant singing of birds as their companions. After some time, Hiroshi turned to Rika and asked, "What did you hear during our silence?" Rika, who had been carefully observing her own thoughts, emotions, and surroundings, replied, "I heard the world around us, the rustling leaves, the singing birds, the distant sounds of nature. But more than that, I heard the inner workings of my mind, the constant chatter of thoughts, the ebb and flow of my emotions, and the restlessness in my breath." Hiroshi smiled, recognizing the familiarity of these observations, and said, "What you've heard is the essence of the power of silence, Rika. It's not just the external stillness, but the inner calmness that it brings. When you learn to be in tune with your inner silence, you can understand your true nature, your desires, and your fears. It's in this inner silence that you can find the wisdom and peace that so many seek." Rika was deeply moved by this insight. She had spent years in search of meaning and purpose, and now she saw the path to self-discovery through the power of silence. She knew that it would not be easy, but she was determined to follow it. Over the following months, Rika became Hiroshi's devoted student. She practiced meditation, mindfulness, and deep self-reflection, just as Hiroshi had learned from his master Tenzin. She also spent time in nature, listening to the wind, the leaves, and the birds, finding solace in the profound stillness that surrounded her. As time passed, Rika began to experience moments of profound clarity and insight during her silent contemplations. She realized that the power of silence was not just about finding answers, but about asking the right,